It was the last day of June. A deep silence surrounded Roosevelt Elementary School. Even the walls seemed to be preparing for goodbye. The hallways were empty, but one classroom had its light on. Sarah Miller was sitting there, 62 years old. She had been a teacher for 40 years. She had carefully put her gray hair in a bun, and in her hand was a notebook worn by time. Brown, full of memories. Inside were letters from 1,000 students. The story of 40 years. This notebook was like Sarah's heart. Sarah had been working at this school from the first day. She had started as a young teacher in 1983. Back then she was full of hope. Her eyes were bright. She believed she could change the world. Now it was different. She was tired. The school was going to close. This was her last week. She opened the first page of the notebook. "Dear Mrs. Miller," it said, "thank you for teaching me to read. Now I love books. Jenny, 8 years old." Sarah smiled. She remembered Jenny. She was a cute, shy girl. She kept to herself. Her family had no money. Her father was unemployed. Her mother was sick. Jenny would go hungry many days. Sarah would share her own lunch with her because she knew a hungry child couldn't learn. "Reading is your superpower," she would say to Jenny. "Nobody can take it away from you." Now Jenny was a doctor. She lived in Boston. She had sent a letter last month. "Thank you for changing my life." A tear fell from Sarah's eye. She turned the pages. Every letter was a life. She saw a letter from Marcus. He was 16 years old now. He was Sarah's last student, but he wanted to quit school. "What's the point of school?" he would say. "I won't find a job anyway." She had talked to him last week. "You are very smart," she had said. "You are talented in math, but nobody cares," Marcus had said. "Nobody in this neighborhood goes to college." Sarah's heart broke. She had heard the same words 40 years ago. The story of children losing hope had never changed. Children were losing their hope. Suddenly the door opened. Principal Johnson came in. He was Sarah's oldest friend. He had also been at this school for 35 years. "Are you still here?" he asked. He looked tired. "You're working even on the last day." Sarah touched the notebook. "I'm collecting memories," she said. 40 years of memories. Johnson sat down. "Sarah," he said, "I have to tell you something." The results came from the doctor. Sarah froze. She had gone for a checkup last month. She was always tired. She was coughing. "What does he say?" she asked. "I don't know how to say this, but..." "Lung cancer," said Johnson quietly. "But we have hope. It was diagnosed early. It can be treated, but it needs time." Sarah's throat got tight. The world seemed to stop spinning for a moment. A dark shadow had fallen over her 40 years of work, 40 years of teaching, thousands of children, and now this. "How much time do I have?" she asked. "The doctor is optimistic," said Johnson. "But you need to rest. You need treatment." Sarah looked at the notebook. All those children, all those lives. She thought of Marcus. He would quit school. Nobody could stop him. "I want to teach one last time," said Sarah. "To Marcus and the other children. I want to tell them the truth." The next day Sarah entered the classroom. There were 15 students, high school students. They all came from families in difficult situations. Marcus was sitting in the back row. "Children," said Sarah, "I want to tell you a story. There was a girl named Jenny. She was your age. Her family had no money, but she learned to read. Now she's a doctor." The children were listening. Sarah took the notebook. "I taught 1,000 children," she said. "All their stories are different, but they all have one thing in common. They never gave up. Marcus raised his head. But Mrs. Miller, he said, they were different. I'm not different. Sarah went to Marcus. Marcus, she said, you are very good at math. Do you remember the problem you solved last week? It was college level. But I don't have money for college, said Marcus. My family can't support me. Sarah smiled. Jenny didn't have money either. She worked very hard and got a scholarship. She struggled. She never gave up. Now she treats other people. Sarah opened the notebook. She started reading the letters. Every letter was a success story. The children were listening. Their eyes were shining. Even Marcus was paying attention. You are my pride, said Sarah. Not just my pride. You are the future of this neighborhood. There is a hidden talent inside you. When you discover it, you can change the whole world. You just need to discover it. When the class ended, the children were quiet. They were thinking. Marcus waited in the classroom. Mrs. Miller, he said, do you really believe in me? Sarah held his hand. Marcus, she said, you are the hope of this neighborhood, but first you need to believe in yourself. That evening Sarah went home. She was tired but happy. Maybe she had convinced Marcus. Sarah was taking care of herself and resting during summer vacation. One day Johnson called. Sarah, he said excitedly. Who filmed your last lesson? I don't know, said Sarah. Why? It went viral on the internet. Everyone is talking about your story. Sarah was surprised. How had this happened? And you have even better news, said Johnson. Your old students are calling. Jenny is coming from Boston. Michael from New York. David from Chicago. They all want to see you. That weekend a miracle happened. Hundreds of people came to Roosevelt Elementary School. Sarah's old students. People who were now doctors, engineers, teachers. They all wanted to see Sarah. Jenny came. She was 28 years old now. She wore a white doctor's coat. When she saw Sarah, she cried. You taught me to believe in my dreams, she said. Michael came. He was an architect now. He built skyscrapers. You taught me to think big, he said. David came. He was a teacher like Sarah. He had his own classroom. You taught me love, he said. Each one thanked Sarah. Each one told how she had changed their lives. 40 years of teaching. This was the moment. 3 months later, Sarah finished her treatment. She got her health back. Her student Jenny closely followed the process. Sarah was now retired. Her time had come. On the last day Marcus came. Mrs. Miller, he said, I want to show you something. He showed her the college acceptance letter. I got accepted to MIT, to the math department, with a full scholarship. And I know this is because of you, because you believed in me. I believed in myself too. Sarah hugged him tightly. Marcus, she said, I'm proud of you, son. That day Sarah left her classroom for the last time, but she knew she was leaving her legacy. 1,000 children, 1,000 lives, 1,000 futures. Jenny had now opened her own clinic. She treated poor children for free. Michael was building schools. David was teaching Sarah's methods to his own students. And Marcus was studying at MIT. He was preparing to become a math professor. They were all Sarah's seeds. Seeds planted 40 years ago. Now they had become trees. And those trees were spreading their own seeds. Sarah is now 65 years old, retired but happy. She still carries that notebook with her. Sometimes she opens it and reads. Every letter makes her smile. Last month she got a letter from Marcus. Dear Mrs. Miller, it said, now I'm a teacher too. I told my first student you are the hope of this neighborhood. just like you taught me. Love, Professor Marcus. Sarah cried after reading the letter, but they were tears of happiness. 40 years ago, she had started as a young teacher. She believed she could change the world, and she had changed it. One child, one letter, one life at a time. The seeds of knowledge that a teacher plants become forests over time. Sarah's seed took root in hundreds of lives. Sometimes you don't need to do big things to change the world. Sometimes believing in one child is enough. Sarah did this, and she was right. Now it's your turn. Watch this video again. Feel Sarah's belief. Learn to believe in the people around you. You can also change someone's life. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Take care of yourself. And remember, small steps lead to big changes. See you.